Hello everybody, welcome to Chess in the Romantic Era. I'm gonna show you some of the best games from Loewenthal. He was considered to be one of the best players in the 19th century. You remember in the two previous classes, we saw games from Paul Morphy, great American chess player, Anderssen, maybe the best in the 19th century. One of his greatest rivals was Johann Jacob Loewenthal. I think he was born in Hungary, but he spent a great part of his life living in England. Ethan, you know where is England?
Yeah, isn't it in Europe?
Exactly, right. That's it. London, beautiful city. You should visit it. Fish and chips. Okay. So I'm gonna show you 3 games today. Let's see if we have time for that. The first game corresponds to a game between Loewenthal with the white pieces and Anderssen with the black pieces. So let's start. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6, and Bishop C4. Kevin, how this is called? Italian, great. It was very popular in this century and the previous centuries. And it's just a very natural move, right? We develop our piece, and then we're gonna go short castle here. The bishop is placed in the best diagonal because we are putting pressure on the f7 pawn, the weakest square, and yeah. So bishop c5, black does the same. So people from the YouTube, you're more than welcome to ask any questions and comments, whatever. And here, white played b4. A gambit that was very common at that time. You know how this gambit is called? Orlando, you know the name?
I've suffered it.
Okay.
I have a play on 102, but
Okay, so this is called.
I know that, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, so this is called the Evans gambit, and it's extremely interesting because after bishop takes b4, now you play c3, winning a tempo, and then you're gonna play d4, and then you have a nice center, and then this queen can come also to b3, and then you are putting a lot of pressure on the black king side. So here there are different options. Bishop a5 is the most natural move, so the idea is that after d4, e takes, you can't take with the pawn because there is a pin here, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, Ethan?
Yeah, because it's a pin, that's the name.
It's a pin, that's a name, exactly. I like this move, so for those who wants to learn some theory, I like bishop e7. The idea is that after d4, you play knight a5. It's a bit weird, but it's very interesting. It looks like black's losing a pawn, and it's true. After knight takes e5, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, but in return, you have eliminated this dangerous bishop, and then you're gonna play d5, and black enjoys the bishop pair again. 2 bishops versus 1 bishop and 1 knight. But okay, after c3, bishop a5 is the most common move. White plays d4, e takes d4, and now since white's not able to take back on d4, Loewenthal castled kingside. Short castle and d6. Basically, what you want to do with this d6, you want to develop this bishop later, but also you want to move this knight to f6 so white can't play e5, right? Which would be extremely annoying in this position. So c takes d4 was played, bishop b6. A really good move. It's prophylactic. You know what prophylaxis is in chess?
No.
It's a very weird word, right?
Yeah.
Prophylaxis. What does it even mean, right? So prophylaxis means that instead of focusing only in our own plans, we first think about what our opponent wants to do, and then we stop that. And after that, we start thinking about our own plans, right? So bishop b6 is a prophylactic move against queen b3. Queen b3 is what white wants to play here. But bishop b6 fights against that because after queen b3, black is much better. How? Why do you think black played bishop b6 here?
So,
And this is very important because this bishop b6 is played many times in this move, and it has a reason. There is a reason here. Come on, people from the YouTube channel as well.
maybe.
Knight takes d4. Whoa, knight takes d4, it's really dangerous. For example, I guess I can take and then bishop f7, and this looks really, really dangerous for black. So, it's not knight takes d4, but instead,
Bishop.
no, bishop takes d4, I take on f7. Yeah, somebody said it in the YouTube channel, Tom Nonderman and Andres Bobo.
Knight a5.
Knight a5, great, Kevin. You are too strong today. Knight a5.
I see it.
The point is, if white takes on f7, you just move the king to f8, and then there's no efficient way of protecting this bishop, right? Because if the queen comes to d5, how do you win the game now?
From whose perspective, black?
Black, of course. Black's moving here.
That's true. So is it a one-move checkmate?
No checkmate. It's impossible to checkmate since the king is well protected here. But you're gonna win a piece.
So you're gonna succeed in a capture.
Exactly.
So what move would you do?
So just it's very simple. Let's keep attacking pieces. Knight f6. The queen has to go, and the queen can't protect this bishop. Let's say queen g5 and then king f7. Because with this knight on a5, you're removing these two squares for the white player, right?
Yeah.
That's why bishop f7 is not possible. So queen b3 there, even though it looks like the most natural move, targeting f7, it's a bad move here. So h3 was played. So there's no pin on g4. And now knight f6 was played by Anderssen. Knight c3 by Löwenthal, developing a piece protecting the central pawn. Right? Short castle was played, and how do you keep going here? How do you develop your piece? Where do you want to put this bishop from c1? There are many possibilities, yeah, many decent possibilities, but what's the most natural move here? Bishop a3, it's interesting, but still this diagonal is closed. So rook e8, for example.
Would it be f4?
f4 is a good square too, but for me, I would say g5. It's even more natural, right? Because there is a pin here,
Oh, yeah.
right? So bishop g5 was played by Löwenthal, h6 by Anderssen, and now what do you play? You take on f6. You have any good reason to give the bishop pair? No, right? If black had to take with the pawn, would be a good reason because we would be destroying black's pawn structure, and the king would be not in a very safe situation. But since black can take with the queen, we have no good reason to give the bishop pair. So that's why you should go away. Let's say bishop h4. This is what Löwenthal played, and now g5 was played by Anderssen. It's an important moment now. We have two options. We can take on g5, we can go bishop g3. What do we do?
Would you take, because then isn't it helping like destroy the pawn structure?
That's very reasonable. So we are sacrificing a piece and not only destroying the pawn structure, but there is a ping here with this knight on f6, and it's not easy for black to unping. We are just threatening to go knight d5, for example. It's true that black can take on d4, and this is actually what happened in the game. So for example, if black plays king g7, there is a beautiful way of winning the game already. What do we play here with the white pieces? It's not that easy, I'm telling you guys. Most of you would think about knight d5, but then bishop d4, It's not that easy. So how do we play here? Forcing moves, captures, threats, and checks. And if I take? Queen f3 doesn't work. I think because I can just take on d4 with my knight. e5, and if I take? So you are saying e5, take, and then you want to take back. How about if I just take on e5? Knight d5?
Or knight e5.
Knight e4.
Or knight e4. How about just knight e5?
I think I can still survive here with queen d1. E takes f6, and then let's say king g8, and still it's not that easy. But the idea is really good. e5, d takes e5, and now? And now what do we do? How do we exploit this pin? Queen f3, are you threatening to take on f6? Not really, right? But if you bring another piece into the action, that's a big hint.
d5?
d5 is possible, but I can just move my knight. Kevin, you had a very good idea. You wanted to take and then bring the knight. Why you don't bring the knight straight away? Knight e4. And black has to resign, right? There's no efficient way of protecting f6. You see the idea, because now the bishop, after e5, pawn takes, knight takes, the bishop, even if comes to d4, since the pawn is on e5, it can't protect the knight from f6, right?
Yeah, it can.
So that's why king g7 loses. In the game, Anderssen played bishop takes e4, and now knight d5. Do you think we can take the rook on a1?
Rook on a...
I mean this move?
Because...
Why?
Would it be giving away your bishop for no good reason?
There is a good reason. You're getting a rook. That's a good reason, okay? But then something happens.
I just say no because...
Why, Kevin?
The first, like, I don't know. Just no.
Why?
No why? Just
There's a why. There's always a why.
so...
You know what why means in Spanish?
For what?
Why?
For key?
Why? Why? Why means cool in Spanish. Why?
Why means what?
The word why.
Okay.
So it's like why?
I don't know that. You said...
All right. So bishop a1 is not a good move. And why? Just queen takes a1. And then you're going to take this knight too, right? That was an easy one.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing, right, for white here, for black here. You're taking an f6 with the bishop or even with the knight and just wins. So knight d5 was played and bishop e6 was played by Anderssen. And here, just a very humble move. Rook b1 was played. But it's not that humble because you see this maneuver, rook b3 and rook to g3.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, I see.
And it could be very, very dangerous for black.
Yeah, I get it.
What do you think now? You can take on d5 or not?
You can.
With the knight, it's obvious, right? That you can because the queen on d8 is there.
Yes.
But can you take with the bishop?
Yes, but then you'll lose your bishop.
Exactly, because after e takes d5, you don't only lose that bishop, but also you're losing this one. Because you got to remove this knight since it's being attacked, and then the bishop on d4 is just unprotected, right? So you can't take on d5. This is what black would love to do. Take on d5, so you remove another piece that it's putting pressure on f6, right? Here, there was only one way for black to survive.
To survive.
And it's really beautiful. How do you survive here with the black pieces?
So it's one, two, how do you survive? Bishop. So what I figure is you need to take out that bishop.
So, you have any ideas?
Well, I think I know what you should do, but I don't know the means to accomplish it.
So what should we do?
Maybe you should try to take out that bishop.
Which one?
The one on,
This guy?
yeah,
Yeah, but that's tough, yeah?
I know, that's the problem.
Yeah, somebody in YouTube more or less found out the idea. The move is knight takes d5, sacrificing the queen.
That's
Bishop takes d8, and now knight c3, attacking the queen. So the queen goes to h5, and now you take on c4. And then we got 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, for the queen. And suddenly it's not that obvious how to win the game,
And the rook is,
right?
yeah, and the rook is under attack.
And the rook is under attack, and the bishop is under attack.
Both rooks are under attack.
Wait. What if I do queen g5?
Queen g5.
White can try some checks, like trying to.
Exactly. I think white's only possibility here is just to give checks on the g file and the h file, and just make a draw.
Wait, what if I do
Is that what happened?
Yeah. So, you know, Kevin and Ethan, we will do something funny at the end of the lecture. Okay? I'll tell you what later.
Yay, I get to do something funny.
Right? You know how we celebrate checkmate in Spanish commentary?
No, I really don't.
I'll tell you later. Okay? All right, here the only chance for white is to give checks on the g file and the h file. So this is like a draw. But after rook b1, rook b8 was played by
Okay, so
Anderssen.
rook.
And now what do we play here with the white pieces?
So it's white move. What do you do? Well, so what
This game is actually a brilliant game from Loewenthal. I really like it.
Wait, was Lowenthal playing black or white?
Loewenthal was playing white.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Okay, that means that I have a feeling white will do something smart.
Yeah,
Does
I
white-
like that.
Does white take, and this is probably not right, but does white take the knight on f6?
You want to take the knight on f6, but then that solves black's problem because after bishop takes f6,
Oh, you're right.
there's no pin anymore,
So that's
right?
useless.
So how do we bring more pieces to the action?
So you want to engage more pieces?
Yes, heavy pieces.
Heavy, would you do the bishop to b5?
Bishop b5, the problem is, okay, that's not so bad.
Oh, I did it too. And he thought the knight would be a problem.
I think I can still play the same idea.
Oh,
Knight d5 and then knight c3, something like this.
yeah, you can. There's just one less bishop in the area.
But the move was rook to b3. Sorry, rook b3. We talked about this move before. We want to go to g3, and then this king is
you did talk
in
about
deep trouble, right?
Yes.
So king h7 was played, and now how do we finish black's opponent?
Last.
This is just
Wait.
very direct.
So it's white move.
White to move,
It's
yeah?
very direct
Yeah.
solution, meaning
Captures, checks,
you
and
do,
threats.
Queen to h. Yeah, that move.
We want to do that, but there's a knight protecting that
That's a
square.
knight,
So
So maybe you want to take the knight out.
that's right.
So, but do you take it out with the bishop or the knight?
Normally, it would be better to take with the bishop because then son rook is going to come to this file to give a check, right?
Yeah.
So this is how Loewenthal finished his opponent.
I was as smart as possible.
Yeah, you are like Loewenthal. Ethan,
Good. Ethan.
We can call you Ethan Loewenthal?
Sure.
Yeah?
That works.
All right. So bishop f6, and now Ethan Loewenthal. Finish your opponent.
Finish the opponent.
Come on, you said it just right now.
I did.
You said the move.
G3
No, g3.
with your rook.
Okay, that's interesting. But you said before queen h5,
Oh yeah, I did say
check,
that.
king g8, and now
Now
rook to
G3.
g3.
Checkmate.
Bishop g7, and one more move.
One more move. Would you take with the rook on G7?
No,
You would not.
no,
Huh. Oh, because you don't.
because I just take it.
Very direct.
So,
Go to the
how do we threaten checkmate in one move? Kevin?
in one.
Yeah. No, it's not checkmating one. With this move, we will be threatening checkmating one. Queen h6, exactly. Somebody in the YouTube channel said checkmate 64 and queen h6, and black has to resign,
Wait,
right?
Why?
Because whatever black does, next move is queen g7. If black goes queen f6, then knight f6 checkmate. Even more beautiful with the knight.
wait, why can't black just use their bishop to take out the queen? No, not the other.
No, because there's a pin here. You see? It's an illegal move.
It is. I didn't see that.
It's an illegal move, right? Okay, so this was the first game. As you can see, was really beautiful. With
Can we have a look to taking with the other piece? I mean, this is the best, but to see if both were working. And
so knight f6, right?
Yeah.
check,
So bishop f6,
and
Queen-
then the check first.
yeah, and then king g8.
Yeah, maybe it will be different with the queen. Yeah,
Probably is working after rook g3.
yeah, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then let's say bishop g7. I don't know if okay, at least you can take the queen, yeah?
King and,
Yeah,
and
it works, it works. But the other variation is just mate, right? Okay, so let's check the second game from Loewenthal.
Oh, it's from Lopez.
And
Kevin.
okay, so e4. Loewenthal again with the white pieces against Brien Wormald.
First two moves, isn't it?
So I guess Brien and Wormald were two players, you know. Before, these players in the Romantic era, they used to play like the good players versus a group of players, okay? They called it like consultation chess.
Wait, they did?
They did, yeah.
That seems a lot like cheating.
Yeah, it seems like cheating, right? Like unfair, right? But you know, they wanted to prove like they were so good. So that's why.
Oh, so Lowenthal probably wanted it.
Yeah, Loewenthal was playing against two guys
Oh,
here.
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this was in 1954.
So bishop b5. How this opening is called?
Bishop b5.
Yeah.
That opening.
Bishop c4 is the Italian. So bishop b5, a country which is very close to Italy.
It's very close. A country. Is it the?
It could be Malaysia.
What?
Ethan, could be Malaysia. Australia.
No.
Very close to Italy.
No.
South Africa.
No.
Morocco?
Morocco, it's close.
Yeah, but not close enough.
But this,
I forgot.
where am I from?
Spain.
So the Spanish opening.
That's
This is called the Spanish Rui Lopez opening. Bishop b5, a6, attacking the bishop. Bishop a4, knight f6, short castle, and before we checked another game in the previous class, viewer's choice, we checked that knight e4 was possible. And here, black player, they went for that. Knight e4, rook e1, attacking the knight, and knight c5, attacking the bishop, right?
Oh, that's smart.
That's smart. So you gotta do something about that. So you take on c6,
Oh, wait.
d takes c6, and you get the pawn back, knight e5. But okay, this position nowadays is considered to be okay for black after the move knight e6. That's why you're not going to see this opening in top tournaments. But here, black played bishop e6. That's a reasonable move too.
Wait, bishop e6.
So there's no check on the e file, right? Because
That's smart.
white was threatening knight c6, just winning the game. Check,
Yeah.
and then taking the queen, right?
Wait.
So bishop e6, and here Loewenthal played a really aggressive move. Queen h5.
That's a pin.
What are you threatening here with the white pieces? Let's say if I play bishop d6, just developing my pieces. What do you play?
Oh, so you just played that.
Kevin? Queen f7. Whoa, that's too much, right? After queen f7, I just take your queen.
Yeah. Would you not have done it?
Knight f7, right. There's a nasty pin here on the e file, so you can't take with the king, it's illegal. You can't take with the bishop, illegal move. There is a pin here. White would be winning. How about after the move bishop e7? It's a bad move, but you have to tell me why.
So why is that a bad move?
Yes.
Wait. Well, it's cutting off an no. Yeah, it's cutting off an escape route while opening.
So does knight f7 works now or not?
Knight f7.
Bishop f7 and then?
Does it? It doesn't.
And then Orlando?
Moving over to the knight in c5.
Exactly. So knight f7, bishop takes f7, and queen takes c5.
Oh!
And there's a pin here, right?
I'm not the best at chess. I don't know.
So after queen to h5, queen f6 was played in this position. And then, okay, black is protecting the f7 pawn. So knight f7 is not possible anymore because you will just take with the queen, right? Queen f7,
Yes.
and nothing happens. But now you are not controlling d4, right? So that's why Loewenthal used this to play d4. d4 not only supports this knight, but also attack this knight, and also this bishop is joining the party on g5, right?
Oh, I see that.
So knight d7 was played by Brien and Wormald, and bishop g5. What's the only square for the black queen here?
The only square for the black queen would be to move to f5.
Great. That's the only available square for the black queen. That's right. And here, white played a very good move.
White did a good move.
What would you play here with white? I mean, if you give me some time, I'll play probably h6. And then you can move the bishop since the queen is unprotected. So you gotta be careful here in this position.
I can't move the bishop. Huh. But you do have.
Oh, I see that. Maybe.
You could move the queen. I'll destroy you.
So, do you have any candidate moves?
A couple, but
What,
well, you could take with your knight on d7.
or knight on d7, that's a possibility, but then after king takes e7, I'm more or less safe. I'm planning to bring this rook to e8 and then to castle artificially. So, what moves? Orlando, Kevin.
I know the move, but I want to give E7 chance.
You first serve.
Okay. This is also probably incorrect, but you can move your queen up.
Where?
h7?
h7. Woo!
That doesn't sound
What do you think about this move?
was bad. Yeah, 'cause
Rook takes h7, right? And then you just lost the queen. Don't blunder the queen, Ethan.
You could also.
Take away the black's queen, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think of that?
What did you guys think about this move, knight f7? You think that's a move?
Wait.
What do you play here with the black pieces? Knight f7 is interesting, but it's not the best move in the position. Sorry?
With the black pieces.
Sorry?
Queen takes the knight.
Queen takes the knight, then you got, boom, rook e6.
Yeah. So
White wins. But how about g6? Did you see that move?
But
yes.
the white knight can take the rook, so maybe.
But then your queen is attacked too.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
So I can't play.
still you got knight h6. Only move to survive here. The only move to.
I'll play
What you wanted to play, Kevin?
queen h2.
Queen h3. Ooh.
No, that doesn't.
Then I take here, and then I take there, and black's a piece up.
Oh yeah. So
Right?
maybe you want to move the queen to h4.
Yeah, that was also a possibility. So let's say knight f7, g6, queen h4, but then I just take your knight on f7, and black's better.
Wait.
So-
I have to see.
There's a better move. Did anybody of you saw that?
No. Okay. Wait.
Orlando?
Taking away the queen with the g pawn.
Yes, exactly. That was a brilliant move by Loewenthal. g4. And Ethan, what's the only square available for black now?
I can answer this one most like. Would it not?
We got people here in the YouTube channel from Honduras. You know where Honduras is,
No,
Ethan?
I don't.
It's actually pretty close to your country.
That's pretty close. Oh, is it?
Central America.
No, that would lose it too.
Where you want to go?
Well, I was thinking you can move it to e4, but
No.
then the rook would take it.
Exactly. So you can't go there, you can't go there, no there, no there, no there, no there, no there. Not here, but then
Yes, you could take that.
exactly. You can take the pawn on c2, but now this runs into knight to f7. Boom.
But what about a6?
a6.
Oh, it's no longer. Wait, yeah. Wait, not a g6.
g6. This is what black player played here.
Oh,
g6, but now Loewenthal sacrificed the queen. He played knight to h8, taking the rook. G takes h5, rook takes e6. The point is, this king can't go to f7 or d8, so you have to sacrifice another piece,
wait.
right? Rook takes e7, king f8, and now it's time to count. So we got one rook, one knight. So white has one rook and two pieces for a queen, and that's a good business for the white player. Knight a3 was played,
Knight to a.
attacking the queen,
Oh, that's,
winning a tempo. Black took on b2,
that's also smart.
rook a e1,
That's interesting.
and now black took on a3, rook takes d7,
Huh.
and now black played queen h3, rook f7, king g8, and now how do you finish black player here? Kevin.
Wait.
Kevin, what do you play here with the white pieces?
Okay.
Be careful because I want to take your knight, yeah?
I think I see it.
Who saw that? Ethan, you think you saw that?
Yeah.
So?
Would you move your rook on e1 to e8? No, because then it gets taken.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be perfect, yeah? That would be checkmate. But life is not that easy.
Yeah, that's sad. Like really isn't.
Life's never easy.
So make it easy.
So make it easy.
So.
Wait, no, that doesn't work because it's impossible.
Oh! Rook E7.
Rook E7, then that runs into Queen G4, followed by Queen G5. Oops.
What can I do? Wait.
I wait.
I think I saw that.
We got all the time.
Rook E3.
Perfect. That's a brilliant move. Rook E3. Only move for black here is to take the pawn on G4 and now Rook to G3. And then there are going to be a lot of discovered checks. Queen D1 was played. King G2. Queen takes D4 and now Kevin.
Rook, bishop.
Bishop. Where? Now it's
Anywhere.
actually anywhere. Are you sure? I'm not so sure. Bishop F6 just wins in the spot, yeah?
Wait.
But Bishop H6, can I just play King H8? Bishop G7 and now King G8? I was thinking about this position. Okay, yes, Bishop D4 even wins. You're a piece up. But Bishop F6 just wins straight away, right? Bishop F6, you are forced to play Queen G4 and then you just win this position. You can even take and you're a piece up. Okay? Piece up.
Oh, pizza. Okay. I heard you said pizza.
Pizza. Yeah, we are all hungry, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
8.
wanna eat dinner.
Yeah, me too, man. We're gonna finish the class in 15 minutes and then time for dinner. All right, so last game. And then this is the same game. Yes, this is the same game that we just saw, right? So we are not gonna see that again. So I think this is the game that I had prepared. Again, Loewenthal with the white pieces against Jozsef Szen. E4, E5, knight C6, Italian. Bishop C5. Before we saw the Evans Gambit. And now we're gonna see C3. Very natural move, aiming to install a center with D4. D6. Today it is well known that knight F6 is the best move here in the position. But they didn't have databases, they didn't have books or even tournaments. So this was like in 1842, this game. D6 was played, D4 installing a nice center, E takes D4, C takes D4, and Bishop B6. Again, Kevin and Ethan, what happens after Queen B3?
Queen to B3.
We just saw that this is a transposition actually.
Can you turn that down, sir?
So, knight A5. Knight to A5.
Exactly, knight to A5. That's right. So Queen B3 not a good move. H3 was played, knight F6, short castle, and now here Jozsef played H6, prophylaxis against Bishop G5. So is knight E4 possible here?
Yeah. Is knight E4? Yeah. We can rook E1.
Yes, so rook E1, D5 only move, and now what do you play here with white?
Take.
What do you take?
Take the pawn.
And then queen takes?
Yeah. And then, wait. Knight E2 or knight C3.
There's actually a big difference between knight D2 and knight C3. Because of the knight D2, I play F5 and I'm happy.
And knight E3.
Knight C3, the point is you're also attacking the queen,
Yeah.
right? So F5 is no longer possible because we take the queen, right? So, knight E4 is actually a mistake because after d5, then knight c3, and then white's better. We're taking the e4 knight with a check, right? Okay, so short castle h6 was played, knight c3, short castle, and now a3 was played in this position. Knight e4 was possible actually here after knight takes d5, and black's okay, but instead Jozsef played not a very good move. He went for knight to h7 here in this position. You normally don't want to go to the corners, right, with your pieces, right?
Yeah.
And here Loewenthal also improves his knight. He wants to bring this knight to g3, looking for some more action. This knight can jump to f5, can jump to h5, also protects e4. Knight e7 was played by Jozsef. Knight f4, knight c6, sorry, aiming to go d5 in this position, and bishop b3 was played. Prophylaxis again. So after d5, as happened in the game, you want to close with e5. And now we have a nice pawn majority here on the king side that Loewenthal is going to use later. Bishop c7 was played here by Jozsef, and bishop c2. This bishop has done his job on this diagonal, not that diagonal, but this diagonal. Now this diagonal is closed, so that's why you want to bring the bishop to c2, and then there could be some potential attacking chances on the king side after some queen d3, right? So that's why now black tries to trade this important piece, the bishop on c2, that was extremely dangerous. Bishop takes f5, knight takes f5, and queen d3, attacking this knight. Queen d7 was played, protecting this knight. And now, how do you connect the rooks? How do we connect the rooks, Kevin? How do we continue development? Bishop d2, right? We want to bring this rook to the action.
Oh, yeah.
Knight e7 was played. Maybe not the best move. Going back again. And now rook a to c1 was played by Loewenthal. Rook f to e8, and now g4. He starts attacking on the king side. Maybe this knight can also jump to h5. g4 supports this knight. Knight f8 was played, and knight h5. What's the threat here? So let's say, for example, black plays a5. What do we play here with the white pieces? There are some tactical problems here for the black player.
Wait, I know.
Yes? Anybody has an idea?
Wait, so there's tactical
Exactly. Sergio Caballero found out. Also, hi there. Marnix. Bishop h6.
That was my socks.
And now after g takes, knight f6. Nasty fork. Check, and then I'll take the queen, right, Ethan?
Yeah,
You understand? Yeah? You get the point?
I think so.
Knight f6 checks. You got to move the king, and then knight takes a7, okay?
Yeah.
Great. So that's why black played queen e6. So now bishop h6 doesn't work because you can take with the queen. But knight h4 by Loewenthal. Now he wants to send the f pawn to the action. f4, f5 is a really important threat here in this position. And actually there is no efficient way of stopping this because you can never move this g pawn since there is a fork on f6. Now attacking the rook and the king. So king h8 was played, and boom, f4, f6, and f5. The queen has to go to f7, and here, what's the simplest way of winning material here? E6, I go back to g8. Probably it's also very good. But there's just a very simple way of winning a pawn.
Winning a pawn, very simple way. Would you use, wait, whose turn is it, white?
Yes.
So, would you use your knight to g7?
G7, that's losing a piece, right? Because I can take with the queen.
Yeah.
So that's not very good, right?
Oh, so it's a way that doesn't lose a piece. Let's see.
Exactly.
Um,
So, simple chess, captures. What do we capture, Kevin?
I need
Sorry?
he takes the alpha.
E takes f6, great. G takes f6, and now
And takes the h6.
bishop takes h6. This is how the game continued. And now knight d7 was played. Bishop g7 check. King h7 and queen to d2. As you can see now, the queen wants to come to h6 and then h8, and that's checkmate, right? So what can we do to stop that? Knight g8. Black is trying to defend this position. It's really tough. Loewenthal played knight g6, bringing another piece to the action. Yes?
How about I'm thinking about knight f7.
Knight f7.
No, at
Knight
knight f6.
f6. How about if I just take?
Oh, there's another.
Yeah, I know what you wanted to do. You wanted to do after knight g to f6, queen h6, right? And then queen h8. But black can't take with the other knight. Be careful in these positions. We are so close to the victory that we don't want to mess up. Knight g6, rook e4 was played. And the queen can't come to h6. So that's why Loewenthal decided to find another route. Queen f2 followed by queen h4. And it's just impossible for black to stop white's attack, right? Knight e7 was played. Sorry, queen to h4. And now king g8 was played. If you take here on g6, you just can take, and after queen takes, knight f4 check, and then you win the queen. So that's why after king g8, what do you play here with the white pieces? Come on, this is the last part of the class. You should find the best continuation for white here.
So the best continuation for white would be, let's see. No, probably not. Definitely not.
Yes, Kevin? Be careful, you only got one shot.
Knight f6.
King g7.
Oh.
Huh.
Wait. Queen h7.
King takes. King takes your knight on f6. King takes f6. So knight f6, king g7, queen h7, king f6.
Let's see here. How about what Kevin said, but as pointed out, that doesn't work. That would be an unnecessary sin.
Come on, Kevin. Your pizza is waiting.
My pizza? I don't eat pizza tonight.
What are you gonna eat?
What?
What are you gonna eat?
I don't know.
You don't know? Something good?
Yeah, something new.
Hopefully, yeah?
Oh, I think I know.
Ethan, tell me.
So, would you move the knight on g6 to capture
But then I can just take, right?
Wait.
Or even with my queen.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah. So,
That doesn't work.
anybody saw it? Orlando, you saw that?
No.
Kevin, you were doing all right. You started pretty well.
For the starting move.
Let me try one more time.
Yeah, sure.
So knight f6.
King takes.
Knight e8.
98. Rook takes.
Yeah.
And
And you resign.
wait. And I go back. Like when knight f6, you take and then I knight.
You want to go back to h5?
Yeah.
Then king g8.
So, Kevin,
So
So,
this would be
Wesley saw?
but then this guy would
Consider
not
taking with the
check.
bishop.
This side-
Bishop f6. Are you thinking about after bishop f6? I guess I can take on g6.
oh
On G6.
Yes.
That's the point.
Probably still winning, but
wait.
there's a forced continuation here. Forcing moves. Forcing moves. Checks all the time. Kevin, check me.
Check me. That must be knight f6.
Knight f6. King g7. Continue.
Doesn't check.
Continue. You were doing fine before.
It's queen h7.
Continue. One more check. And you are there. One more check. One more. Come on. 5 seconds.
I think I know. Wait, do I? I think I know.
Are you sure, Ethan?
Yeah.
You know?
Um,
It's this position now. How you win?
No. Wait.
Just one more check. Come on, Kevin. You got it.
How?
Just one more check. Give me one more check.
Oh,
You know how to do that. Sorry? Queen h4, I just go back to g7. No. Give me another check. You know how to do that.
I might know.
Check. Come on.
I know, maybe.
how to check?
Come on. There's just 2 checks in the position.
It's a building check.
I think.
G5
Yeah?
is a check.
Yeah? And then?
And then king takes.
And then what happens with the queen on f7?
You said just one check.
Yeah. One check and then you win the game.
Oh,
No,
and
but
queen
you're
h4.
the receiving? Okay.
g5. That's a move.
Yeah, G.
King takes, only move, and queen takes f7, and black can resign. Right?
Finally. Oh.
And this is how Loewenthal finished the game. Okay, guys, so these were the 3 games that I wanted to show you. Loewenthal was a really great player. This has been my last lecture here this year in St. Louis. I'm going back to Spain tomorrow.
No.
So thank you for coming, and hopefully see you soon in the future. See you guys. Thank you.
Pepe, what do they say in Spanish commentary?
Okay. Kevin, Ethan, you want to celebrate her Spanish commentary? No? Yes or no?
Yes.
Come on here. Come on here. You have to appear in the show, yeah? Ethan, come on here. Kevin. Like we normally.
Getting closer.
Okay. Come on here. Ethan, come on. Okay. Let's go. Come on here. Yeah, come on here. You know like how like a machine gun sounds? Ra-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. So when there is checkmate, all right, in some top tournament, we celebrate like that. We just look at the camera and say, come on, do it. Come on. The sound. How it sounds. Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That's right. Great. Okay. Thank you, guys.